This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
Since you're new to H&R Block, we'll look at your returns from the last 3 years for any money your last guy might have missed for free.
I could get money back from last year?
You could. We'll find any mistakes.
Could have really used that 2 years ago when I dated that mistake for 5 months.
Don't leave money on the table. Switch to H&R Block and get a free second look review. Second look is included at no additional cost with the purchase of tax preparation. Results vary. All tax situations are different. Fees apply if you have us file an amended return.
My wife is freaking on me, because again...
Yeah, you're a plumber. You're in the trades. Why can't you get this done?
Right. She said that. You brag about this guy.
That's what I say, too.
Right. I'm surprised I didn't get a shoe in the butt,
I'm surprised you didn't either.
This is the plaintiff, Clint Martin. He says he hired the defendant to repair his air conditioning unit, and the technician was rude to his wife, made her cry, and they almost got into a fist fight over it. Bottom line, they made repairs which weren't needed. He wasted his money, and he's suing him for a refund of the $1,700 he's owed. These are the defendants, Allison and David Airy. Allison says they fixed the guy's AC unit, got paid, and everything was working perfectly. When the unit stopped working again, David discovered they hadn't changed the filter and it was clogged. The plaintiff grabbed David by the neck, pinned him up against the wall, and physically assaulted him. Once that happened, she refused to send anyone over there again, and here they are. They're accused of letting things get hot.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
You see the door, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Clint Martin, you are suing Clean and Green Air Conditioning. I love that name. Clean and Green Air Conditioning. For $1,700, $1,400 they charge you for a compressor, and $300 for 2 service calls because, according to you, they did not fix the problem. Tell me what happened.
Absolutely. In the summer, May 31st, the AC was blowing some hot air, and unfortunately, it was my wife's vacation time. She works for the post office. She's on the heat every day. So in South Florida, you have to have air conditioning, So I called Dave.
It's not a luxury.
Yeah, you got to have it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I called Dave because I've used him before. I'm a plumbing contractor, and I've recommended him before in the past. Never had any problems. Felt very safe. He came by. Clint, no problem. It's a little bit low on Freon. We'll jack it up. Everything will be good to go.
Okay, and you got charged how much for that? $150?
$150 for the service call, so I paid him.
And for the Freon?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, go on.
And then shortly after, a couple days passed by, was blowing hot air again. He came back out, and he says, oh, well, this time, electrical component, I didn't notice, but the contacts in there don't look too good, and the coil's a little bit dirty, so I'm going to clean that up. And he showed me some electrical component, and then he's like, well, since I was just here, I'm only going to charge you for the part. So me being in the trades, I said, absolutely not. I'll pay you for the whole service call and the part. So he left again. It was blowing cold, and then again, it got hot again.
How soon?
Just no more than a couple days.
Right, okay.
And hot air again. So I call him up, and I'm like, Dave, look, I'm not AC guy. I'm plumbing guy. You got to come by here, straighten it out. If I need a new system, whatever it is, it has to be done. My wife's on vacation. You can't have it 95 in the house. He comes out. So he says, now that I'm here, I noticed the fan motor is acting sporadic. I didn't see that before. So I'm going to change that.
So he changes a fan motor?
Changes the fan motor.
Did he charge you for that?
No.
Okay,
no,
so he gives you the fan,
he was
and
doing
then
the right
what
thing,
happens?
trying to make it work. It started to blow hot again.
A couple of days later?
Yes.
And then what?
So the compressor in there now, he says, well, Clint, the compressor's bad. Well, I'm like, well, how much is that? He says, $1,400. And I said, but if I put $1,400 into this whole system, am I going to get a couple of years? Because, I just did my driveway. I'm in contract to do
And he says?
a bunch of expense. He says, Clint, 30 years experience, you're good for a couple of years, no problem.
Okay, so then he puts in a new compressor.
He puts his new compressor.
You pay $1,400, and what happens?
Hot air again.
Okay.
And now my wife is freaking on me, because again.
Yeah, you're a plumber. You're in the trades. Why can't you get this done?
Right. She said that. You brag about this guy.
That's what I'd say too.
Right. I'm surprised I didn't get a shoe in the butt,
I'm surprised you didn't either.
So yeah.
All right, but here's what I want to ask you. Have you had the thing fixed?
Absolutely.
And can I see the repair bill from the new AC guy?
Yeah.
Because what did they do? Because if you already had a compressor, what did they do?
I call a big company to come out and pay them for a service call to troubleshoot everything, right? So this company comes out to a leak detector. The gentleman is there for no lie, 10 minutes after he had the lid off of there.
Yeah, if you own a leak detector, it's faster. The big companies own the leak detectors, right? The little ones do not, right?
I have several.
You have several leak detectors?
Yes,
oh, so why didn't you bring a leak detector?
With all due respect, that's not what happened.
Okay, what do you say happened?
The whole story's backwards.
Okay, so what do you say happened?
His fan motor was an intermittent problem that was undetectable because every time I went there, the fan motor worked fine. It was only after I changed the compressor, which was shorted and had blown fuses, and after I replaced the compressor on that very same day, after I left, everything was running fine. I got home and he called me up. Hey man, it's not working. I said, okay, Clint, no worries. I'll be right back. I come back and the thing's overheated and I'm thinking, well, I put the compressor in and it was very, very hot that day and it was hot in the house. I thought maybe I didn't get enough gas in it. Maybe it overheated. So I put water on it, got it all cooled down, got it started up, topped off the charge, waited a little bit, everything was fine, and I left. I get home. The phone rings. It's Clint. Hey, man, it's not working. So I come back again. So I wait like a half hour, and all of a sudden the fan motor stops. I'm like, oh, okay, so secondary problem. I discovered the bad fan motor. I said, Clint, I'm going to throw a new fan motor in for you. Everything was fine. I went home, 9:30 at night, completely exhausted. Get up the next morning. I call him up. How's it going? It's great.
And then we didn't hear anything for a week.
This was July 4th.
Yeah, but it should last longer than a week.
Of course,
of
course.
Okay.
So I'm like happy. I'm like exhausted, but I'm happy. It's done.
Okay, let's get past your mood and let's get to a week later when he calls you and says, this thing is broken again for the 10th time.
So he calls me the Sunday. I said, I'll be there as soon as I can Monday.
Okay.
So at 2 o'clock, he calls me. 2 hours later, I get there, pull the filter out. It's completely clogged. I say, this is probably the whole problem right here.
You're an AC guy. Why wouldn't you have looked at the filter at the beginning?
Well, I know because I asked her about it, and she said, Clint takes care of it. I left it at that.
You know what we're talking about, right? You do.
Yes, ma'am.
It's this. That's what we're talking about.
It's also
this one action of checking to see that the homeowners who lie all the time and think they're better than they are at changing filters, change the darn filter. But
Your Honor, I was wrong for not insisting on looking at the filter.
Does anybody have a picture of the filthy filter?
No.
I actually do have a picture.
May I see it? All right, so according to you, the filter is filthy, and then what happens?
So I pull the filter out of the bottom of the machine, and because it's all iced up, it's dripping all over the floor. So I quickly walk to the door, I open the door, and I throw it out because I'm also in a conversation with his wife. So I just kind of throw it out the door. Immediately, she gets on the phone, and she calls him, and she starts saying that I'm whatever. I didn't really listen to the details of what she said.
Your wife calls you and tells you what?
That he's at the house, and he said, Missy, sweetie.
Missy, sweetie?
Yeah, Missy, sweetie. He knows my wife. Missy, sweetie's how he's addressing her.
Wait, is your wife's name Missy?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't even know what his wife's name is.
Okay,
yes,
Missy, sweetie, go ahead.
Yes, he does know my wife's name.
I don't care. Will you guys stop it? Like you're like kids in a playground.
Missy, sweetie.
Focus.
Missy, sweetie, I need to get in and see the unit inside. So she lets him in, and he goes to my wife. you guys are pigs. You never changed the filter.
What?
That's
You
the
guys are
cause of the whole
pigs?
problem.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Don't yell
go
in
ahead
my
and run your
courtroom.
mouth
Do
like
not
always.
yell
This
in
guy's
my
crazy,
courtroom. We
man.
are not on the playground.
You guys are pigs, and he threw it at my wife's feet. So she gets on the phone and calls me. He's being belligerent to me, and she was hysterical crying. So I says, I'm on a job site, but I'm leaving now. I'm coming home.
Okay.
I leave, I drive home. My wife is crying with my son.
She's still crying?
Yeah, out in
Okay.
front of the house, and he's out in front of the house with the AC filter is all ripped apart and it's wet. He takes it and throws it in his truck and goes, Clint, we could have a drink, we could talk about what happened. I says, it's beyond that. And then his answer was,
This is the filthy.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I'd like to see that,
Yep.
that picture.
Yep. I'd like to understand how that wasn't looked at before. So what'd you end up doing? Do you hire another company to come in and change the AC? Do you have proof that you paid the other company, like the
Yes.
canceled check or whatever?
Yes.
May I see?
That's what the documentation.
That's up here? Okay, hold on
that's
one
up there.
second. So I see there. Now, what I don't understand is why, if there was a brand new compressor, did they have to change a compressor and not just the inside air handler?
Here's exactly how it goes. There's a picture up there also of the coil, the old coil. The compressor sits inside that box, if you would, inside the center of that. You never, from all the AC guys I've spoken to, never change that compressor when the coil and compressor are that old. You buy the whole thing, if anything. You buy the whole compressor and the coil together.
What are you trying to say to me, that he didn't change a coil?
No, he did not change the coil.
Is that what you're trying to say to me?
Right, that is
Okay,
what
did you
I'm
change a
saying.
coil?
No.
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 All right, and then it turns out that this new company says that with the detector, they found leaks in the coil.
Yeah, you could see the green on those other pictures. It bubbles up green where the leaks are. Those are filters.
Go on over to there and show me what you're trying to point out to me in these pictures.
Right there, that's a leak.
Okay, because it's green. That's
Yes.
how I know.
Mhm.
Okay.
See that? Look, that's leaking right there.
Okay, all right, go ahead and go back. All right, now, you are a big part of this company, I can
Yes.
tell,
Yes.
because you have been itching to
Well,
say something
I
all this
have.
time
I have, because-
and telling him, okay, let me handle this, all right, let me hear from you, ma'am.
All right. Sometimes, yes, David can be a little bit short, okay, especially when
Well,
he
if I
is
knew you had a
tired.
British accent, I would have gone to you sooner, go ahead.
But one thing he isn't is he isn't belligerent with people, he isn't rude with people, and he certainly wouldn't call any woman Missy or anything like that, because it's just not in his nature. What I do know is he turned up home with a mark across his face, very upset, slightly shaking, and I said to him, "What?" And he said to me that Mr. Martin had come tearing up the driveway when he was at the house, and Mrs. Martin had called him and had physically touched him, physically
Did that
pushed him
happen?
back.
Yes.
What did he do?
absolutely.
Tell me about it.
You can demonstrate on me, because
First of all,
Don't knock her down, though.
okay. Well, when I took the filter out, she's on the phone calling
He
him.
gets there. From the moment he gets there, what
He comes
happens?
flying up to the house. I'm walking out, and he comes at me like this,
demonstration.
Okay.
and catches me right here.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. How do you protect yourself when you hire a contractor to make sure they're not selling you unnecessary services or equipment?
Always get a second opinion and try to make friends with contractors so you don't have to deal with that kind of problem.
Okay, that's not bad.
Always double check like the resources or ask for like another customer opinion type of deal.
Well, that's not bad too.
Yeah, references, who they've done before. Find out.
Whether there are complaints.
Yes.
Gotcha. Going inside the courtroom.
And I'm like, Clint, calm down. I'm like, there's nothing to fight about here. This is just, first of all, had the filter not been clogged, it would have never iced up. And
that only makes me angry that you didn't check the filter. But go ahead.
Okay, that's my bad.
Right.
It was a secondary problem that I wasn't aware of that
Oh,
came
that could
back.
be the original problem, and then that would be it.
No, there's no doubt about the original problem because it was a shorted compressor, it was blowing fuses, and,
What about
and
the
nothing
coil?
would even come on.
What about the coil?
That's hearsay. That's all. That
No,
right
no.
there
I'm
is
looking at the
not.
pictures with the green bubbling. And I also have the thing from the new AC company saying that the coil had leaks in it. I need your response.
That's oxidation. That's not a leak. You see that on coils all over town.
No, hold on. I need you to stop laughing. It's not funny.
I can't help it.
You can, and you better help it, okay? No. I know what oxidation looks like. That's the bubbling with the liquid that they put so that you can see the bubbling.
The bottom line is I had no intention of abandoning this job and not getting to the point where he was happy, because that's the way I do business.
Right, but they did have to call you out a lot in July. And
he did. But like I say,
I'm going to order you to return the $1,400. I am going to order you to pay the court costs. And that is what I'm going to order you to do. And you two part ways, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, that lady took my...
Well, the plaintiff is going to get money back. At least he's going to get the money for the compressor. You got to give the money, $1,400 back. How do you feel about that?
Not happy. I would have made the job whole had I had the opportunity, but once you're physically attacked, what can you do?
All right. Well, sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's the way it goes. Thank you very much. Mr. Martin, did you, where are you going?
Well,
you go here. Talk to here.
I'm sorry.
Did you attack him?
No, come on.
Where'd that come from?
I have no idea. You know, again, sport is a sport. I did boxing a long time. I could take care of myself. I'm not going to do that. You take care of it like a gentleman here in the courtroom. That's where to get him.
All right. So, you're going to get the money back for the... Is it working now? Your system working now?
Beautiful new system.
What'd you do? What, the whole new thing?
A whole new system. Everything's good. My wife is cooled down. She's happy.
Sure.
When the wife is happy, everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy,
Yeah,
right?
It's
Good.
all good.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
All right.
Okay. Take care. Harvey?
You know, my advice is always use licensed contractors, especially for big jobs. And the reason is, number one, there's a standard they have to meet. Number two, there's an insurance bond that they have to file in case you have to go after them for money. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hey there, Ryan Reynolds here. It's a new year, and you know what that means. No, not the diet. Resolutions. A way for us all to try and do a little bit better than we did last year. And my resolution, unlike big wireless, is to not be a raging and raise the price of wireless on you every chance I get. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited. See mintmobile.com for details.
These are the plaintiffs, Tony and Kathy. Tony says he was walking Kathy's dog, and when he passed by the defendant's house, a rather large Alaskan Malamute charged towards them and attacked Kathy's dog, Pepper. Kathy's dog needed 9 stitches to repair the damage the defendant's dog caused. She's a terrible person who never had the decency to even respond to their request for vet payment, and they're suing her here and now for the $1,364.44 they are most definitely owed. This is the defendant, Deborah Peltz. She says it was the plaintiff's dog that snapped at her dog first, and that caused the fight to ensue. Her dog Diesel reacted as dogs will. He defended himself, and she owes nothing because dogs will be dogs. She's accused of failing to control her big old dog.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff's dog passed the defendant's house, and the defendant's Alaskan Malamute viciously attacked. But the defendant says the plaintiff's dog snapped first. It's the case of your Malamute is Mooey Mole.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Kathy and Tony, you've asked to be referred to only, we got a dog, by your first names. You are suing Deborah Peltz for $1,364.44 in damages that you say you incurred as a result of a dog bite. Your dog is on a leash, I presume?
Yes.
Okay, just bring your dog out so I can see your dog. If you're going to bring the dog, I might as well see the dog. Hi. All right. Okay, mix. All right. Okay, go ahead. So what happened?
It was after dinner. I was taking the dog for a walk. Kathy had been away. I was watching her for a few days.
Okay.
And
is it technically Kathy's dog?
Yeah, it's Kathy's dog.
Do you live together?
No.
Okay.
No.
So the dog, you were.
I was watching the dog for a few days. She was up visiting her new grandson.
Okay.
And anyway, I walked down Ryerson, which is near my apartment where I lived at the time. And when I approached Park Street, which is where the defendant lives, I turned the corner and there was a car parked on the side of the road. And I was walking, I was going to go around it, but there was a car coming down the street. And so I waited behind that car, and as the car went by behind the street, I could see the defendants talking to each other. She was on the porch and he was on the lawn. And the next thing I know, their dog came out of the back door, which was next to her.
And what kind of dog is that? What kind of dog is your dog?
Malamute Shepherd mix.
Okay.
Yeah, big dog. And anyway, the dog just walked slowly across the street. And I'm standing there with Pepper, and as it got closer, I was trying to move her away, and then as soon as they got close, the Malamute started biting her. And that's when I tried to push it away with my leg. And then Pepper, because she was so much smaller, had to get up to defend herself, and when she did, the Malamute bit her in the stomach.
How did she get up to defend herself?
Just put her paws up. Her paws up on the Malamute. And when she did that, the Malamute bent down and bit her in the stomach. And when they really were starting to bite each other, I pulled Pepper, and she came out of her collar. And
Pepper did.
Pepper did. And she ran about 10 feet away. And then the defendant got control of her dog. And at the whole time, she's saying, no, my dog never gets loose. It never gets off the leash and so forth. But in the meantime, this confrontation was occurring, and they had time to grab it, but they didn't until after.
What were they doing while you're struggling with the dog? What are the two of them doing?
I think they were astonished at what was happening. I think more or less they were astonished at what was going on.
How did the dog get? So it's not a fenced-in yard?
No.
Okay.
It's just
so the dog comes out.
The door must have been ajar.
Okay.
And the dog came out and just walked across the street and basically attacked Pepper.
Okay.
And I was yelling, "Get control of your dog."
Okay. And when you said you kicked the dog. Did you actually kick the dog? Did you lift your leg? What'd you do?
I was holding Pepper like this with the leash, and as the dog was starting to bite her, I kicked her with my... Kicked her.
And then did she or he say anything?
After I got Pepper, after she came off the collar, and I was walking away, I said, I guess dogs will just be dogs, because it didn't seem like anybody was hurt. And he said, if you ever kick my dog again, I'll kick your ass. And had he not said that, I probably would have knocked on their door the next day to tell them that, there was an injury caused. But when I went to file the next day, the police department, I said, I described where I was and who was involved, and the cop said, he said, they know him and he runs hot.
Okay, were you there when it happened?
Yes, I was.
What happened?
Okay, just as Tony described, that's the front of the house, not the back.
No, don't talk to him directly.
Okay.
Talk to me. Now, we find that doesn't do anything to calm people down.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay. There is some discrepancies in what happened. I was looking for Matt because he was out spraying weeds. Checked in the back. We do have a fenced backyard.
You were looking for who?
Matt.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I went to look in the front, and sure enough, I went out my front door, and I was on the porch, okay? And Matt was on the corner because we live on the corner. And then normally, if our dog's out, he's out with us. If we're in, he's in with us. I left the door open, and then evidently Diesel followed me into the house, not realizing, and then he went out and walked across the street.
Wait, Diesel followed you out of the house? Is that what you meant to say?
No, into the house, because I was looking for Matt. I was out in the back, and I went to the front.
Oh, okay. So Diesel followed you through the house, and then what, out the front door?
Well, I didn't realize
Did your dog get out?
Yes.
Okay, how'd your dog get out? Because the door was open and the dog got out.
I left the door open, okay, and he saw Tony and this dog walking around the corner, and he walked across the street. My dog is socialized, okay? He goes to doggy daycare. He has no signs of aggression, and I have proof of that. What happened was he walked over because, new dog in the neighborhood, because he knows them all. And they were sniffing each other, okay?
I'm sure you're who you say you are, but regulations require I sniff you first. That's, dogs are dogs.
Exactly. It is what it is. Dogs are dogs.
Right.
They're going to do what they do.
See,
However,
the law doesn't punish dogs for being dogs.
However, It was Tony's actions, because dogs feed off your energy, whether
I believe
it's
that's
positive,
true. If they
negative,
see you're scared,
calm,
they think there's a reason to be scared.
Exactly.
Right, but here's the thing. Well, the law doesn't punish dogs for being dogs or humans for being scared. The law punishes when you don't follow the rules. When you say, normally the dog is outside with us when we're outside, and inside you don't have a fenced-in yard.
Yes, we do in the back. This was in the front
in the
yard.
back. All right, well, then don't leave the door open, because your
My
dog
mistake.
was right, and that's why we're here. You know, we're
Right.
not here.
My mistake.
You're not going to get the death penalty.
No.
You know that the only thing these people are asking is that you rectify the mistake. Now, we'll talk about damages, but do you think for 1 second that I'm going to dissect the behavior of the dogs to figure out who was the aggressor?
No, but I will. If you
you
allow
can do
me.
it, but not on my nickel.
Okay.
See, because I got a case to run.
Right.
So here's how it works.
I want to be heard.
What we put, yeah, but I'm not going to listen to you flap your gums about stuff that doesn't matter.
So, if I have a dog and it gets out of the house and bites your dog, and after you kick my dog away, am I responsible for your vet bills?
I think so, because you left the door open.
But what if it's just a simple accident, that's why I left it?
It depends on whether or not the dog was provoked. So it depends on whether or not...
in this case, the plaintiff did push or even kick the dog away because the dog's coming at him.
That seems like the dog would be provoked then. If the dog was kicked away, then it was provoked, and that's...
Really? Because if you see a dog running at your dog, you wouldn't try to stop the dog?
Well, it might just be running over to say hello in a friendly manner.
Well, you are really pro-Malamute, aren't you? Okay, going inside the courtroom.
The law doesn't care who was the aggressor. I'm going to assume that your dog got loose, came over and said, "Hi, I'm Diesel and I'd like to play," and that dog bit the hell out of your dog. I'll assume it however you want. It makes no difference. It makes no difference, because you see, we expect animals to be animals. They're supposed to be animals. They have like protected behavior. They feed off, like you said. You know, it's not his dog. Maybe he wasn't quite as comfortable. You know, whatever it is, they feed off that. That's absolutely true. And that is why our laws say that your dog must be on a leash and you need to be more careful. So what the law punishes is your behavior, not the dog's behavior. All right, let's talk about the injury a second. Okay, how many stitches did your dog end up getting the next day?
9, I believe.
Okay.
And there were staples.
Staples? Ugh. Oh, yeah, I can see the staples. All right. Now let's talk about what you're suing for, because I saw that your vet bills are $598.22, but what you're suing for is over double that. So start talking.
Our time.
Did you have to take a day off to take care of the dog?
To take care? No. I had to, I lost sleep the night.
I know.
She wasn't there.
Okay, I'm going to need you to stop, because you have the absolute wrong attitude for someone whose dog ended up putting 9 stitches in the belly of another dog. I'm trying to be patient with you, but you're making it very difficult. So unless I direct a question to you, you do not need to start screaming in a courtroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, 18 hours total.
Of what?
Traveling to the vet, waiting.
Okay, so time and what else?
Time plus mileage. I used the IRS figures.
Okay.
For 2017.
Okay.
That was just came to $35.31.
Okay.
The vet bills and postage.
And postage.
For
How
the
much
2
is
certified return receipt requested letters.
Okay. And were your letters ignored?
Yes.
Or were they picked up? Like, in other words, did they come back?
They were picked up.
They were picked up. So you got the letters, and in the letters, do you have the letters with you?
Yes, I do.
May I see them?
Sure. Here's that.
And I need the vet bills.
These 2.
Okay, I've read them. They're just asking for the vet bills. And then did you ignore these letters where they're asking just for the vet bills?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm going to issue an order in favor of the plaintiffs, because that's what the law requires in a case where your dog gets out.
Can I just say one last thing?
Yes.
Please?
Yes.
Okay. When they went to the vet the first time, the instructions were that he had the collar on. Monitor the sutures several times a day. Well, it was a week later that the dog got an infection, so that tells me that either the collar came off, okay, and they weren't monitoring it properly. So I shouldn't be responsible for the $139
Can I ask you a question? How long have you had pets?
10 years.
Okay. Have you ever had the dog with the collar? The lampshade?
Yes, I have.
Right.
And it keeps
has
them
the
from
dog ever
not-
had an infection after have you ever had a dog who's had an infection afterwards?
No, because
Yeah,
I didn't remove that collar.
I have. And you know what?
Because we don't know what they were doing during that week.
Now I'm just going to need you to press the off button, honestly. Everything is someone else's fault except for yours. When it's you, it's an accident. When it's anyone else, it's a vicious, All right, stop. $598.22 is, if you had responded to them, that's all this would be. But now it's become the gas mileage, the monies for the certified letter, and your court costs. Verdict for the plaintiffs.
So the plaintiff does prevail. The plaintiff's going to get the vet bills back and some other assorted costs. I think you learned something about how a case like this is handled in court.
Yes, I have. However, if this gentleman knew anything about dog handling, okay, he never would have kicked my dog, okay? He was the aggressor, and which caused my dog to react. And that's it. It is what it is,
You were
okay?
You were dead in the water because you didn't have control of your dog.
That's because he evidently got out the front door, and he never does.
It's your fault, right? Your fault. What can I tell you? That's the way it is.
It is what it is.
It's a shame you didn't pay the vet bill, you know? You really should have been more kind to them.
Well, he shouldn't have kicked my dog either.
Okay, but he... All right, Tony and Kathy are on their way out of the courtroom now. She's not going to understand this at all. I can't get through to her, I don't think. How do you feel?
It's pretty black and white.
It is. In the eyes of the law, it's black and white. You're right. How's the dog doing? Cute puppy.
Doing great.
Cute
I was a
little
little
puppy.
worried.
Hi there.
That she would be different, but her personality is still the same. She's still very
All
sweet.
right. Well, look, I'm glad she's doing better. Well, listen, congratulations. I hope this doesn't happen again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, Pepper. He's a cute pup. Harvey, interesting case. What do you think?
Okay, I mean, Doug, the key is control. You have to control your dog so it doesn't attack. And the real issue here is dog got out of the house. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Avatar. She says she went to a store, parked her minivan in a legal spot which had no sign stating otherwise, and when she came out, her car was gone. She thought it was stolen, but as it turns out, the defendant towed it. There she was with 3 kids, a full shopping cart of food, and it was 90 degrees out. The tow company says she was in a fire lane. It was never a fire lane before. Now all of a sudden it's not legal to park there? This is a scam if ever she's seen one. And she's suing for $5,000, $272 for the tow, $2.79 for spoiled milk, and $4,725.21 in punitive damages. This is the defendant, Brian Shinen. He says the store contracts him to tow illegal cars. The plaintiff parked in the end cap of a row which is not a spot, and he towed her. A lot of people do it at that property. It impedes the flow of traffic, and it's a problem he's been hired to enforce. The plaintiff chose to park there illegally, and now she has to pay the price of the tow. End of story. He's accused of spoiling a woman's milk.
All parties, please use your ready. Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff parked her minivan in a legal spot. It was towed. There were a bunch of kids in the car and milk that spoiled. Defendant says she was parked in a fire zone. It's the case of crying over spilt milk.
Okay, Avital?
Yes.
Okay, you're suing B&M Towing, represented here by Brian Shinen. You're the owner?
Yes.
Okay. For $5,000, most of it in punitive damages, $2.79 in spoiled milk, and spoiled deli meat, $14.99, and the cost of the tow, because according to you, you were inappropriately towed. Tell me what happened.
On the day that I was towed, I went to this BJ shopping center, which I've been going to for years, and I was with my 3 little kids, so I went to look for the closest spot, closest to the store, less walking around with them.
How old are your kids?
I have twin 6-year-olds and an almost 4-year-old.
Okay.
So we were all together. It was supposed to just be a quick trip. So I found something in my usual area, right near it, parked my car as usual. We went in, and when I came back out of the store, there was no car.
Okay, let's slow down a second, and let us... Does this look right? Does this look familiar? This is an aerial view of the...
Yes.
BJ's, I presume. You want to go ahead and go over there a second, and let's try to tell me where it is that you parked.
And I've been parking there for years. I was in between these two trees over here, next to this first.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to make that bigger. Say again where you were.
Right here next to this tree.
How next to that tree? Show me where.
I'm saying that it's usually 4 cars, usually park here, 2 here. I was in this first spot right over there.
So if I had a car right here, are you saying there? Like
Yes.
on the other side of this?
Yes, right here. As if my finger was that.
Okay, I'm not seeing white stripes there, though.
But it has been a parking spot. People are always using it. There's no sign that has ever said that it's a no parking zone. I've been using this particular store for at least 6 years, always parking exactly right there, never getting any notification or anything. I mean, it's always being used as a spot. And again, it's not labeled anywhere.
Like that car right there is parked inappropriately.
Right, and that was left there. We also have pictures of a car parked there at that time and it wasn't taken. And
Okay, but how would that entitle you to $5,000? In other words, we can see which are the parking spaces. They are marked with a white stripe, right?
Yes, I understand.
And then you're parked in the area, which I presume is the egress of that in order to get out. You're parked there. Frankly, there should be white stripes there. I get what you're saying. That is an enormous wasted space for the BJ. I don't get it, but, okay, go ahead and go back. Did you actually do the tow? You're the owner of the company. You didn't do the tow.
No.
Do you have your tow people take pictures of where they towed the car from and take pictures of the car when they tow?
No.
Do you know where the tow was from?
Right where she said, apparently.
Well, that's apparently, but you don't know. Why are you here and not the tow guy?
Because I'm the owner of the tow company.
Yeah, I know. What are you going to be able to tell me about the facts of this case?
Well, I'm reading what was written. The
Okay.
car was parked not between 2 white lines. I spoke to the driver. The driver.
Actually, that's not what it says. What does it say? A
it
fire
was parked
lane.
in the no parking zone.
A no parking zone fire lane.
Yes.
That's what it says.
you specifically wrote
Hold on.
no fire
No one's
lane.
asking you a question.
I'm sorry.
So does the tow company have a duty to take pictures?
Well, I respect produce as much as the next guy, and even though the milk got spoiled, I think that they absolutely needed to take pictures of the tow truck. If you're going to impound someone else,
I don't care about that. Why steroid scallions?
Steroid scallions, you grill them on the beach, you're gonna have a nice time. On the sunset with a beer, oh, delicious.
Okay, and it smells too. Going inside the courtroom.
He specifically wrote what? Tell me what he see. This is where bringing the tow truck driver with you would help, but go ahead.
It was unattended, unoccupied. Vehicle parked in drive-through lane at end cap is what it says.
Okay, hold on one second. But he also marks blocking
Yes,
fire lane, also marks
yes.
no parking
No
lane,
parking zone.
traffic lane, not fire
Yes.
lane, traffic,
Right, traffic
lane. All right. Did you ever have any contact with them? With her? No. All right, so you're out there, they tow your car, and you got 3 little kids saying, Mommy, Mommy, where's the car?
Yes. And we were able to see, like, immediately when we exited the store that, like, my car wasn't there. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? It's like, where's my car? Where's my car? I see the security guard that roams the parking lot. And I'm like, do you know where my car is? It was over here. She's like, how am I supposed to know where your car is?
Why is she copping an attitude?
And she's like, well, maybe you had outstanding parking tickets on it. I'm like, I have a clean record. I don't have anything outstanding on this car. Can you help me? She's like, that's not my job. And she drove away. And it's August.
Why is everyone against you? Go ahead.
And, it's August. It's very, very hot.
It's 95 degrees according to you. Where are you?
Yes, that's Brooklyn. And then I called 911 because I'm assuming it was stolen because nobody knows where it went. I was only in the store for a short amount of time. 911 didn't even want to help me. They're like, are you sure this is an emergency? And I'm like, I went into the store, I came out, my car's not there. I'm assuming it's stolen. And they're like, are you sure? Then somebody came along, a nice pedestrian, whatever, said that, yes, we saw somebody load up your car and they towed it away. And I'm like, okay.
Well, what am I supposed to do with the fact that you have point blank in the first minute of this case confessed to me where you parked, which is not a parking space. It should be maybe, but it isn't.
It's been used forever. I understand, but
everybody does it. Does not entitle you to $5,000.
Shouldn't the security guard then have told me? Because she works for the company that's there.
No.
She should have said. She asked where my car was.
That's what you can say in your case against BJ's. When you say to BJ's, You guys have never enforced this. All of a sudden, you enforce this. I'm a good customer. You should give me my $272 back in Cheetos or whatever. Give me a. But that's between you and BJ's. You're out of gas, my dear. I'm sorry that you had a terrible, very bad, terrible day.
I mean, it left my kids, traumatized. They're
Yes,
upset.
I know, but you don't think that that's going to cause me to change the law in my head, right? You know that the law applies to you the same way it applies to a gruff, hairy old guy. It's
No,
not,
I understand
I
that.
understand that it was. Of course, it wasn't pleasant. Next time, park where there are white stripes, right? Like everybody else does. I agree with you. I'm looking at this and thinking there's a lot of wasted space.
It's very
Take it up with
narrow.
BJ's. Verdict for the defendant.
Well, the plaintiff fails in her bid to get her fee back and $5,000. Well, $5,000 total. That was pretty gutsy to sue for that. How'd you come up with that?
We wanted to just take them to small claims, and that's the max at the small claims court, which figuring the judge could always work it down, but just wanted to start someplace. It was a big, giant headache. It caused a lot of grief. My kids are still scared anytime I leave my car anywhere. They're like, are you sure it's not going to disappear? The bad guys took it away. So I guess it is what it is.
I think everybody sympathizes with you, but unfortunately, you couldn't prevail this time. All right. Be more careful next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And here comes Mr. Shinan.
How are you?
I'm okay. Were you concerned coming to court?
Not at all. Not at all.
This happened much? You get sued a lot?
Yeah.
Good enough. Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you next time. Harvey?
Hey, it doesn't matter if the parking space is used. If it's illegal, it can be towed.